Well, hello there. I am Marvin Burgos, your co-host, along here with our main host, Jay Milligan, and our exit interviewist, Julia Rowe. And here we have our second boot of our season, Survivor Yagong Island, Andrew Marcus.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, Andrew, thank you for joining us today. Just have some questions about your experience in the game. So first off, walk me through everything. Where do you think it all went wrong for you this season?
I would say it went wrong right after that second round twist of swapping tribes and onto a tribe where I didn't have any time to get to know them. They seemed to all know each other a little bit better than I knew them. And, I did my best to try to make my presence felt, hopefully be a part of a tribe that could win some challenges. But in a mini format, when you only have so much time to get to know people, I can totally respect and understand like where you have some built-in trust with some people prior to the game. It definitely does make an impact on your decisions. When you're just meeting me for the first time, I may seem nice, but who knows what I have up my sleeve. So I totally get it. It's a bummer it happened that way. I knew zero people out of what was it, 15 to start. I knew nobody. I didn't even know of them. So it was like, I was listening to you guys like recap episode 1, and you were saying, "Oh, I think Andrew did his homework and knew they were together." I knew nobody. I did not know they were together. So.
No, and actually, I'll just go real quick why I said that, because you had mentioned to us in your preseason interview that you were familiar with DCP. So I was like, oh, he went back and watched. Like, I thought you did know that, and that's kind of funny, but like you did read it pretty well, which I have to give you credit for not knowing the situation.
Yeah, I knew one of the hosts. I'm friends with, his name's Alex Trius. I know him very well. He mentioned his game and I was like, oh, I'm interested in getting to know that a little better. However, I never got to know it well enough to know the rest of this broad team, and they all decided to play. I would have loved to seen Alex.
Yeah, so you touched a little bit about the relationships that were already formed on your tribe when you swapped. Do you think the name that you threw out there as the alternate vote sort of stoke the flames a little bit of wanting to see you leave? Or do you think that was the best option for you to throw out to get you to potentially stay? Do you think that contributed to it at all?
Yeah, I don't know if I had a good option. I tried my best to read the room, and the one person going into round 2 that I had met was Victoria, because she was on my starting tribe. And so in the moments I had to get with her, I tried to do my best to let her know and make sure she knew that I was going to be with her, and whatever she wanted goes here. And she said she didn't want to do Bill, so cross that off the list. And it also meant probably crossing Lily off the list, because Lily and Bill were together and I knew I needed to create a majority. So it really boiled down to Matt and McKenna. And then Lily even mentioned to me in one of our quick talks where I mentioned Matt. Let me go run that by McKenna and see if she's okay with that. So now I already know that Lily and McKenna are working together, even though they didn't start on the same tribe. So I felt like it was like Matt or bust. And because Victoria said she preferred Matt over Bill, I just had to run with it and hope for the best. I don't know if I had a better name. Looking like now that you've seen the episode, Bill walked into a room where they were talking about girls strong. Like, I wish he ran with that and just like tried to do something with it instead of being like, just letting it happen. And who knows if me, Bill, and Matt could have taken that information and tried to do something with it or not. I would have been willing to listen to that and make something happen there too. So who knows?
For sure. Just to pivot a little bit, obviously this swap tribe didn't fare too well for you. How do you think you would have done if that twist wasn't thrown in and you were sticking on those original tribes? Or on the flip side, if the twist still stayed, but you were swapped onto the other tribe instead?
Yeah, cool. Let's start with like the original starting 5. I do think a couple things happened in that first round that kind of like were red flags for me. One, I couldn't, like, I came back from a confessional and couldn't find my tribe. And when I finally did, it was just Zach and I in a room. So I knew the other three were clicking and deciding between the two of us. Like, whenever it's a 5-person tribe and 3 are talking, the other 2 are in trouble. So like, whether they knew each other or not, I knew those 3 were probably going to stay strong. And then once Zach does leave as the first boot, if we stay with that original tribe, I already felt a feeling like those 3 were clicking enough that I was probably the 4th and in trouble if we went back to another tribal council. So, I mean, a swap wasn't the worst thing in the world. I think Ian and Kyle might have tried to string me along more than Victoria did, and maybe tried to deflect for me if I happen to be, you know, on their side. Like, if it was a little shakeup, like let's say me and Ian get swapped together and Kyle and Victoria get swapped together, who knows? Maybe Ian sees me as a potential shield for him down the road, whereas Victoria didn't really need me. Potentially, who knows? Yeah, I don't know. And if I get swapped to the other tribe in place of Kyle, or if I'm in place of Ian and me and Kyle, a lot can happen if you win a challenge too. And I have just a round to kind of make some ground up and try to get into a majority setting and prove my loyalty to like Kyle and Ian, and as I tried to do with Victoria, because even if I felt expendable in round 1 in that starting group, in a swap tribe, I would have been loyal to them.
Yeah, and just one more thing before we move on to some questions from the Facebook audience. Just, is there anything else that you think you could have done differently? Looking back, you've seen the episode, you've seen people's confessionals. Anything else that you think could have helped you?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, my, like, you know, I don't want to blame it all on pre-existing connections. That's just part of it, you know. I don't think Matt was as heavily connected as the others as well. So like, could I have like, you know, maybe not come out and knocked out 20 push-ups in 15 seconds potentially? Like, I could have tried to lessen my threat level a little bit. But I don't even know if that, like, nobody was, no one, I wasn't voted out because of my challenge ability or lack thereof. Maybe if I was just kind of like in the middle of like my positivity and enthusiasm and maybe toned it down a little bit, who knows if I can just kind of hide. But I don't know. I think a lot of the writing was on the wall the second we go to a swap tribe where, you know, Victoria's already got loyal numbers in Lily and McKenna, and she doesn't want to vote out Bill, and so it's like down to me or Matt already, and Gabby's you know, kidnapped. So it's like it's choosing. I don't know what else I could have done, honestly.
Yeah, just kind of go off of that real quick. It's
Yeah.
funny, something you mentioned is like, it was between you and Matt, and like the thing is, like, I still don't know how you went home for Matt, because like everything I put in the episode about you going home was all that was mentioned. Like everything was Matt, and somehow you went home. So it was all very confusing. So I have to say that.
I would say once it becomes down to me or Matt, it probably comes down to who is more like McKenna and Victoria, who really wants to save their person from their original starting tribe. And maybe McKenna was a little more like, let's keep Matt, than Victoria was. And we don't see that in the episode. But if McKenna was like, I think we should keep Matt, Victoria is probably likely to be like, okay, I'll do that. Whereas Victoria didn't necessarily say, no, we need to keep Andrew, we should get rid of Matt, and they followed suit. So I think the props go to McKenna there for just saying, you know, I want Matt over Andrew. And that's what they followed with.
Do you think if Gabby isn't kidnapped, things might play out a little bit differently? Or do you think the writing was fully on the wall the second that swap hit?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think it would have been the same, honestly. Because like, I mean, Gabby was nothing but sweet and likable, and yes, nobody really wants, like, everyone's trying to get away from the easy excuse of like, oh, she didn't do well in the challenge. You know, people wanted to get away from that. She had people in her corner that were familiar with her. She had Matt and McKenna from a starting tribe. We even see in the episode that the girls wanted to be a thing, so that's a 4th for them. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not quite sure if I'm the one like vocally pitching Gabby should be the name. Maybe that's what I needed to do, just as like the complete opposite reason you get rid of me is like the one who was potentially the weakest link on that challenge. But I don't know if it sticks or not.
All right, so I'm going to shoot it over to Jay, who has a couple questions from the Facebook viewers for you.
Yes, we do. And I'm just going to put this in advance. If we don't ask your question, it's nothing personal. It's because Julia had already asked it, and it's similar to that. But yeah, so it's all love, and we appreciate you asking. So please keep asking. But obviously, we didn't. You know why now. All right. So first, we have a question from Kyle, who is on your starting tribe. Hey, Andrew, sorry we didn't get to play together more, man. I'm curious. Let's say you were on the swap Shayu tribe instead. What would have been your strategy then, and who would you have tried to work to target? I think you kind of touched upon you think you'd be better, but go ahead with your strategy because I don't think you really touched on that.
Yeah, so I can expand on it. Like, did I feel expendable to Kyle, Ian, and Victoria in the starting five? Yes. But in that next group, a bigger group, I definitely, no doubt about it in my mind, needed Kyle and Ian in that game. And I would have taken them, or I would have been willing to go with them very, very far. Like I pegged Ian as a social threat and a potential threat to go very far in this game the second he opened his mouth. And so that's somebody I need as who could be labeled as a challenge threat by my side as far as I can take them. And Kyle had a little more of a chill approach, but the two of them together plus me, like I feel like that was a nice little group that I would have tried to ride with and then add on from whoever else we vibed with in that swap tribe. But they definitely would have been integral pieces. If I was on the Shayu tribe and we lost and we had to figure out a vote, I would be like, my number one priority would be make sure Kyle and Ian know I'm voting with them this round and I'm voting with them in this game for a long time.
Yeah, and I do think obviously it's no secret about the connections in this game. It's came out already, but I do think like you generally had a better chance on that tribe because you were like the one of two other connections where there's a few other people less connected on their side. So I think you stood that chance more. So I think it was just generally picking the wrong square there for you.
Yeah.
And we have a question from Cyan. Yeah. Maybe your favorite color shouldn't be your favorite anymore.
Yeah, no more of my favorite color.
All right, next we have a non-game related question from Carrie. She wants to know what's your favorite weightlifting exercise?
Well, you want me to say push-ups, but I won't. I'll go with love me some deadlifts. They make me feel strong.
They make you feel strong.
I'll go deadlifts. Yeah.
Great. And then Lily, we already asked that question. Andrew said it's from McKenna Feeney, who is the main host at Dynamic Character Productions. Andrew, sad to see you go so early. Following you in instinct, did you so early after following you in instinct, did you try and change your strategy from your winning Big Brother game to Survivor, or did you mostly keep it the same?
So yeah, the game, the Big Brother game that I played was long form, 39 days. So like I have a chance to get on call one-on-one with these people and like let them know I'm more than just like what you see. I'm not just a jock. I'm not just like I'm kind of boring, but it is what it is. Like I can be, but I'm a loyal guy and I have a little, I think I want to play this game as loyal as I can. It's what will get me far. And in a mini setting, like I just know, like, and I think maybe I failed at this a little bit, is like I didn't necessarily get that time to show that I can be as loyal as I can be. And maybe if I did a better job of that, Victoria might have stuck her neck out for me. So yeah, there's a downfall in my game, but did I change anything? Maybe my philosophy would be like, in a Survivor game, I'm thinking way more about the numbers. Like I've always got to be in the numbers, like, and then the second I come back from a confessional to realize like Victoria, Ian, and Kyle are in a group, and then me and Zach are talking, like I know I'm in trouble already because just the numbers say so. So a little more number oriented in this game than Big Brother. And I should have been a lot more quicker to the social game than maybe I would be in my long game. Yeah.
All right. We got a question from your potentially now #1 fan,
Yeah, my
Denny
number one ally.
Naprava. Denny Naprava. And she says, Andrew, I became an instant fan of yours during episode 1 and was so looking forward to seeing you play your gameplay. My first question has to do with watching the episodes back, learning so many of the pre-existing relationships. How do you feel? How did that make you feel? Because I think you didn't know so much in the game. You kind of touched upon it, but like maybe just go a little more in detail.
Yeah, I think like the first thing I did was like search Ian Moorhead to see what he's all about. And I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. I kind of felt better. Like, you know what? It's like, you know what? Like maybe I did all I could do. Like maybe it wasn't just me being, you know, untrustworthy or not giving good vibes off. And it was just a matter of fact that, hey, you know, they knew each other, and in a mini setting, that's an advantage to them. So I think once I found out that so many of them knew each other, it was a little more relief. Like, I think I maybe did all I could do, and I don't feel so bad about my performance.
And again, I say this every time. For anyone watching, that was not intentional. We had 4 people drop like a week beforehand, so they were just the ones we could grab. So that was like
season 1. You know, you're just happy to get it up and running. I get it.
Yeah. And kind of touch upon this a little bit, but we can go into it. Also, what made you have so much faith in Victoria, and would you have wavered from her at all?
Yeah, so the reason for having faith in Victoria is because I don't think I had any other choice. I think it was like she was the only person I had somewhat of a connection with entering the round. We went through a vote together. We voted out Zach together. So the only thing I could truly hope for was like she would see me as a number on her side too. She didn't need my number, which is good on her, but I don't think, I mean, throwing her under the bus wouldn't have done me any good, just because people trusted her right off the bat more than me. So yeah, I just don't think I felt like I needed somebody to like have my back or make sure they know I had theirs. So like, I know in the episode you see, oh, Andrew threw out Bill, and then I wrote down Matt in the actual vote. Well, because I wrote down Matt because that's what Victoria said she was comfortable with. So like, I was okay with taking a back seat to letting Victoria run the show there, because like, I just needed her to know I was gonna, you know, be a number for her for a long time.
Right. And so yeah, let's like go a little bit long term. If you survive that vote, just kind of go upon that, like you would never waver from Victoria. You'd try to keep Victoria as long as you could.
Yeah, and you almost like forget, right? There was a shot in the dark in this game, right? So like I could have tried that. So like
that.
I would say the reason I didn't do that was because like if I needed it at this point, like it was still a long road ahead if I was already on the outs that much that I had to play a shot in the dark. I rather just wanted to take a shot that like the conversation I had with Victoria, Lily, and Bill, trying to create like a solid 4 in a group of 7 was like what was going to stick. And I think I say that when I like show Matt in the vote, was like, let's just hope I'm in the right majority here, because that would have been the game plan going forward, would be to stick with, you know, Lily, Bill, and Victoria, that 4, as long as I possibly could till we get swapped or merged, and then feel out where relationships are from there. But that would have been my 4 going forward.
All right. And the last question is from production member Jay Stahl. Andrew, what was your strategy coming into the game, and how did you change your strategy once you entered the game?
Okay, my strategy going into the game was to be social, make people recognize that, you know, I should be a trusted person. Like I should be like someone they can count on to vote with them and not be sketched out by. My strategy going into the game was to show, especially in like pre-jury or pre-merge, is to show that I can be an asset to the tribe. Like, I don't necessarily love that like push-ups make me a threat possibly, but like, cause like how often do we see push-ups in an online game challenge, but like not very often.
Not enough.
Not enough. We want it more. But so like, but I did want like people to know like I should be able to help in these challenges moving forward. And and then once the game happens and I realized you know, I think I said it, I had to fight and claw for some of these connections more than I would prefer to have to do. So I was kind of in a defensive mode and like I hope I didn't I might have come across, but like almost like begging and pleading to Victoria, like, Victoria, I've got you. I promise. What are we doing together? I'm voting the same way with you. And like, I don't like to beg like that, but I wanted to do something to make it known that like she's got an ally in me. So I became a little more like, I guess the word's desperate earlier than I wanted to be.
All right, and that's all for the Facebook questions. I'll turn it back over to Julia.
Yeah, so I had one more question, but you actually answered it right there. It was about why you didn't use your shot in the dark. Do you have
Yeah.
anything more to really expand on that, or anything else about your experience? This is now a great time to do so.
Yeah, I thought about the shot in the dark a little bit more, and I was like, you know what? Now that I like have some time to digest it, I shouldn't. You just should just play it like and trust my ability to bounce back from whatever backlash that causes when I don't like when I lose my vote, and you know maybe it affects the outcome, and I am safe. And they're like, you didn't need to do that. Why don't you trust us? Like maybe I can bounce back from that. But you know what? It's round 2, and I just wanted to just hope for the best because. Let's say I do play the shot in the dark and needed it. Like, let's say I safe and I needed it, and now what? Like, they're probably I'm who knows? I could be wrong, but chances are I'm just another like, oh, he's gonna flip when we merge or swap again, and now we, you know, he knows we don't like him or trust him. So like, it would have been you know, I feel like if I play the shot in the dark correctly, I still feel like I'm the next boot if we lose. Because they just don't know where I'll go merge. So I was just hoping for the best. Like in round 2, even in round 3 or 4, maybe I'm more likely to jump the gun and hit the shot in the dark. But like in round 2, I wanted to create a majority just based on trust. It just didn't happen.
Yeah, and hindsight's always 2020, obviously.
Yeah.
Looking back, it was a great option to use, but those are all the questions I have for you, all the questions our viewers had. We appreciate you playing and taking a chance on our first season so much. I don't know if Jay or Marvin has anything else to add before we wrap up, but I'm going to throw it over to Jay just for some closing statement.
Yeah, I just have to say too, you never know in these games. So, you know, crazy things happen. You know, see big threats go out early, and hey, you never know. Your tribe could have won next community challenge, and you could have gotten out of clue. You know, so it as we see that happens in episode. So, you know, you never know what's gonna happen in these games. It just proves that everyone should work hard at them. But other than that, this has been an exit interview for Andrew. We got an episode coming up this week. We'll have a recap probably tonight. I'm gonna try to pull that together. But episode 3 should be coming up, and it's gonna be a little bit of a doozy. So a little bit of spoiler, pretty long challenge there. So you're gonna have fun with that. We're gonna be back with our third boots either Monday or Tuesday. We're not sure yet because Monday is a holiday, so we may be back, and we'll be back with a recap sometime for that episode. Other than that, thank you everyone for asking questions. I'm Jay Milligan, your host, your co-host Marvin Burgos, our exit specialist Julia Rowe, and our 14th place finisher Andrew Marcus. Good night, everyone.
Good night.